Hi, it's Nikki here from Happy Hormones for Life. Today I want to talk about a really common symptom that I think most women we speak to have an issue with, and that is bloating. Now, whether it's just a mild feeling, full type bloating after a meal, or whether it's quite severe that, you wake up kind of fairly flat and then it just bloats out during the day and you go to bed with a great big tummy. It is not very nice either way, but it's a very common symptom, especially for women, due to various things, but often hormonal. PMS bloating is very common, and of course it's a really big symptom during menopause as well. And it's not fun, is it? And you get that, if people offer you a seat on the train or the bus because they think you might be pregnant, which is kind of ironic during menopause, isn't it? It's not fun. So what causes bloating? There are lots of different factors. Obviously, it's happening in your digestive system, but there are a lot of other factors that are potentially causing it. First of all, I mentioned hormones. So changing hormones can cause fluid retention, and they can really upset your digestive balance. Now, if you've got other symptoms like severe cramping or fibroids or pelvic pain, you definitely need to be getting that checked. And it's often a common symptom in things like PCOS, endometriosis, when you've got PMS as well, and of course menopause. Secondly, we can get bloating when we have a gut infection, so an underlying infection like bacterial imbalance or yeast or candida infection or any kind of parasites or viruses. They can cause inflammation in the gut, and obviously that can cause bloating as well. And if you've got lots of bad bacteria hanging around, then they obviously they can eat a lot of carbohydrates, and then they ferment, and the toxins that they produce can cause a lot of gas and bloating. SIBO is another big cause of bloating, and it's becoming one of the main causes of bloating, actually. Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and that's what SIBO is short for. Now, whereas we look at infections in the gut, normally we're looking at the large intestine. SIBO is a bacterial imbalance in the small intestine, so it's a little bit further up, where you shouldn't have a lot of bacteria going on. And the bacteria can come up from the large intestine and cause a lot of gas and fermentation and pain and inflammation. So if you've got a lot of distension, bloating and distension, it can often be because of this small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Easy to test for, by the way. Fourth reason, food intolerances, big one. If you're sensitive to gluten, dairy, corn, soy, eggs, those are the big five, but there are loads more. Gluten and dairy are probably the biggest ones to really, really knock out of your diet if you have bloating, just to see if that's what's causing it. And you can do that easily nowadays. It's very easy to do, and you'll see very quickly if that's a factor. Next is too many refined carbs in our diet, breakdown to sugar. Bacteria and yeast love to feed on sugar, and that causes a lot of extra fermentation. So we don't want to be having too much of that. Too many processed foods, another one, and chemicals. Things like artificial sweeteners are renowned for increasing bad bacteria and causing bloating. So we want to get away from chemicals, processed foods, and eat as clean as possible. Digestive enzymes, so important to break down, and hydrochloric acid in the stomach. Gastric juices, really important to break down your food. If your food's not being broken down properly, then it's going to ferment in the stomach and cause a lot of bloating and pain and heartburn and indigestion and all those things. And then it causes further problems down the line when it gets through the stomach. So we don't want to go there. We want lots of nice enzymes. And of course, as we get older, our digestive function does deplete a little bit, and we don't get as good at that as we used to be. So we might need a little bit of help there. Next is stress. Massive impact on your digestion. We know how a stressful situation can affect us. If you've been there, you'll know what I mean. And stress it just really suppresses your digestive function, because the body's in survival mode. It's not going to worry about you having to digest your lunch at that particular time when you might be being attacked by a lion. That's the kind of the way the body works. So stress is a big one. Lack of sleep is another one. You wouldn't really put that with digestive issues, but if you've ever traveled, does your system go a bit haywire? Mine certainly does, because it's all linked with our circadian rhythm. So if our circadian rhythm, our biological clock, gets altered, then that regulates everything, so everything gets a little bit off. So lack of sleep is a big one. Dehydration, another big one. So being hydrated and having the right electrolyte balance stops digestive issues, because really a lack of hydration can really halt digestion and can cause constipation as well. Constipation is the next reason for bloating. You're just backed up, so of course you're going to be bloated. So we want to get the bowels moving properly. Medications, another big one. I just looked up for this video, I just looked up a list of medications that had bloating as a side effect, and the list was huge. Aspirin, antacids, diarrhea medication, iron supplements. We know about the old kind, the new kind, the gentle iron doesn't do that, so make sure you don't take the doctor's prescription and you get the gentle over-the-counter iron. HRT, one of the side effects is bloating, and that's because of the synthetic estrogen in there. Antibiotics, of course, because they're going to mess with the gut flora, and that can be a big impact. Ibuprofen as well, and painkillers generally can also have that impact. So have a look at what you're taking and see if that could be a factor. Now, bloating is not always caused by these kind of lifestyle type issues. Sometimes there are some more serious conditions associated with bloating, so I just want to highlight some red flags. So if you're celiac, or get tested for, or go to see your doctor, because if you're celiac, it can cause bloating. IBDs, inflammatory bowel disease like Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, obviously that bloating is a side effect, can be a side effect of that. Ulcers, appendix problems, gallstones, and certain forms of cancers do have some bloating as symptoms. So just want to, if the bloating doesn't go away with these tips, then obviously go see your doctor and rule out any kind of more serious issue. What can you do to relieve the bloating? That's what we want to do. We want to beat the bloat. So first thing is actually very simple: chew more. How many of us bolt down our foods like there's no tomorrow, and we just haven't got time, so we shove down food. We don't sit and eat slowly. We don't bother chewing. Sometimes it just goes down whole, if you're anything like me. And that causes problems. It causes problems because you're chewing big lumps of food, your stomach has to go into overdrive to try and digest that. You already haven't got enough juices flowing in the stomach to digest normal food, let alone big lumps, so they come down undigested, and that causes a lot of problems down below. So chew as much as you can, and I know that's hard to remember, and we're all very stressed and rushed. But if you can just take some time for your food and just enjoy the food, mindful eating, go check my blog out on that. And just try and chew till it's a more liquid going down. Enzymes can be very helpful, digestive enzymes, just to give yourself a little bit of help with the digestive enzyme production so that your food is a little bit more digested. Any kind of digestive enzymes are good for that. Stress, big one. De-stress, make sure you're taking that time out. I say it in every single video, but it's so important because we're just saying stress has just such an impact on everything that I'm talking about. So make sure you're doing that 20 minutes a day to yourself, your me time, that self-care, that relaxation, switching off that stress response so your digestion has a chance to work properly. The other thing is fasting as well. I just did a video on time-restricted eating. That longer that you stretch between meals, your body has a chance to reset. Your digestion has a chance to actually fully digest food. So I think that really helps as well. Keep a food and symptoms diary if you're feeling bloated a lot, and it comes and goes, so you're not quite sure what's causing it. So that way you can spot any patterns. Go on an elimination diet if you suspect it might be a food sensitivity. So the big five I've mentioned: gluten, dairy, corn, soy, eggs. I would definitely do the dairy and gluten first because they tend to be the most common ones. Lactose intolerance will definitely cause bloating, so take that one out straight away and see what happens, and really just bring them back one by one and see what symptoms you get back. And if nothing else, it brings back that messaging from your gut to your brain again, because when we're eating everything at once, it's really hard to know what's good for us and what isn't. So it'll restore that lovely connection. Clean up your diet, simple, eat whole real foods, organic, get away from the processed stuff, loads of veggies, that's all going to help. Herbs like ginger, dandelion, fennel, mint, parsley, all lovely for your digestion. Make sure you're hydrated. We women, we just forget to drink. And I don't know how many conversations where, yeah, I know I need to drink more water. Yeah, it just doesn't happen. Fill up your jug in the morning and make sure you get through it. Try fermented foods like kefir and kombucha. They're full of probiotics. They're much more effective than probiotic supplements because they're full of natural probiotics that will get to your gut. So kefir, they do in lots of supermarkets now. Kombucha is a fermented tea, which is also really pleasant to drink, unlike the old kind of sauerkraut advice, which I never really got my head around. Make sure you're really active and keeping the bowels moving. Exercise really helps with digestion. Certain supplements can help. So magnesium, if you're constipated, that relaxes the bowel muscles. Digestive enzymes I've mentioned. Fish oils are brilliant, good quality fish oils. EPA and DHA are brilliant anti-inflammatories. So if you've got some gut inflammation, it'll help to bring it down. Vitamin D, critical for that as well, and for your immune system. And get if you do all these things and you've still got IBS or any kind of bloating or any kind of gut symptoms, you probably need to get a stool test done, a proper one, which we can help you with. So get in touch. We can talk you through how that works and what benefits are of doing that. It's brilliant, and we're doing it all the time. And we just get so much information from it. It's brilliant. Also, for things like SIBO, we can do breath tests as well. If you've got that bloating and gas are your main symptoms, then SIBO may be a problem for you as well. And obviously go to your GP if you're worried about anything at all. All right, hope that's helpful, and have a great rest of the week. Take care.